Alright guys, here we are back in my little workshop, gun shop, whatever you want to call it. Gonna do another installment of another gun video. Several weeks ago I started a series, I guess you could call it, on cleaning and maintaining firearms. I started with the good old AR-15. If you want to see that, check it out. I'll put a link in the description, that way you can at least see it. But on this one, we're going to be doing the AK-47. So, I've pretty much had one of these, I guess almost all my life, since I was 17 or 18, I think I might have gotten my first one. It's a very popular rifle in a lot of the armies across the seas. We won't talk about all of them, but it's a very reliable rifle. It's a very fun rifle to shoot. Some people don't like it. Patrick's not a big fan of it, especially since he was shot at by them. But, you know, that's a story for another day. But, anywho, what we're going to do is we're going to show basically the field breakdown and cleaning of the AK-47. Alright guys, so here we are. Yes, I know, I've got two AKs. So, one of them is mine, which is this one. It's just a Palmetto State Armory with Magpul furniture, and it's clean as all get out because, to be honest, I haven't shot it in a while. Yes, I know, Palmetto State Armory. I had another one. I don't even remember what it was, but it got stolen several years back when we lived in Corsicana. But I ended up finding this one at a pawn shop for relatively cheap. That's why I own it. But outside of that, I also have a Romanian Wasser AK-47. It actually belongs to a friend of mine. And it is dirty as all get out. So that's why we're going to clean it. So I've got all the equipment set out and ready for you just so I can point it out real quick, just so you know what we're starting with. So I've got my little kit that I've kind of assembled. I've got my various oils, some barrel oil, my parts oil, my cleaning solution, which I'm almost out of. You're going to see me struggle with. I've also got a couple of patches. I'm going to get a couple cut out once I get everything set up. I forgot to cut more out. I've got my push rod, and then the brass brush, the patch pusher, and also a oil patch pusher, whatever you want to call it. So those are all the minor things that you're going to need just to field strip this. So let me get more patches cut and let me get this other one put up. All right, here we are. AK-47, Romanian Wasser. No magazine is in it. Check. Bolt is clear. Look down in it. Check. All right. It's got the funny little safe. It's the slide safe. They're weird. So, all right. So, to start, this funny little button here on the back. You press it in, and the receiver cover comes off. Next, same little button. You press it in. That allows your recoil spring to come out. Followed by that, your bolt will come out. It'll slide all the way out. And there's a little catch in there. You just got to find that catch. And it'll come, I say right out. You just got to pass that catch. All right. And there, it's pretty much a full field strip. That's really all there is to the field strip. Again, get all this cleaned up, but we can even go a step further. So, right in here, you open, oh, it goes the other way, sorry. You open that little lever that's right here on the side. When you pull that up, that allows the top handguard to come off. That top handguard is your gas tube of sorts. So you can give that a good cleaning. It normally helps to do it at least every once in a while because these things get nasty. And then there, you're left with basically top of the barrel, top of the receiver, and all that. You can get all this cleaned up. But this is basically as far down as we're going to go with it. Again, you can push pins out, pull the triggers, but we can actually clean the trigger while it's in here. So this is what we're going to do. So what I like to do is honestly start with the small stuff. So we're gonna get my rag. Your bolt actually comes out by turning right there, and then it slides out. And then your firing pin sets right in there as well. But anywho, we're gonna set all this down, and we're just gonna spray it down with my cleaner. Make sure the cleaner that you're using is okay for the wood furniture. This particular one is, I've read it before, so just make sure if you're using some kind of oil or cleaner, make sure it is compatible with wood furniture if you have that. And I think I am completely out of that now. Now I'm gonna have to replace it. Oh, I'll spray the inside of this real quick if I got any left. All right, so at this point, we just start wiping things off. And this is just because of the cleaner that I'm using. So basically, it's this Cleanse All. I need to get more. But all it does is it helps to break down the carbon. It helps break down the oil and everything else to make everything easier to clean off. So I'm weird. I just like to start with all my small parts. So I'm just going to take a clean rag and wipe it all off. So you can use, whatever rags you have, you can use. Anything's good. My preference, again, I'm a little weird. I like using white. So I'll take some of my old work t-shirts and whatnot, and I cut them up, and I get small rags out of them. And the reason I like using white is that way I know how much dirt and stuff is coming off of it. That way I can also know if I have to re-wipe something, I know if more oil or more carbon is coming off of it. That should be good and clean. We're going to take a little bit of our oil and go ahead, my parts oil, and go ahead and we're going to hit one drop in the extractor, one drop in the firing pin, and then a light coat on basically the rest of it, because all of this is a surface that touches another metal surface. So, nice light coat. Then we're going to set it to the side. Take my spring. So, AKs, if y'all haven't noticed, AKs have a different gas system than ARs do. So if you have seen my other one, I didn't break it down as far as to getting into the gas system because I didn't feel like we needed it. But to disassemble the AK, you have to get into the gas system. So with an AR, you have a single small little gas tube that comes up. It is literally no bigger than this push rod. Comes up and it pushes back, and that gas pushes on the bolt. Well, in the AKs, you've got a whole chamber right across the top of it. It's this right here, and it pushes up the gas, but it pushes a rod that holds the bolt. We'll put a little oil on this, which it appears it didn't have a whole lot of oil previously, because it looks like it has some rust on it. All right. So this is the actual part that's in that gas chamber. So it's going to be really, really dirty. So unless you really, really scrub on it, you're not really going to get this clean. But this is also the part that gets hit with the most gas right up here, and it's what pushes it back. So there's going to be a lot of carbon buildup on it, and then just some discoloration right behind it. So get it as clean as you can. It's probably not going to be shiny. Now, none of this needs oil. None of this needs oil. You will put a small dab of oil right in here because this is where the bolt slides, and right in here because this is where the bolt slides. That is also a sliding surface. All right, then we'll set this to the side. All right, now let's move on to the main part of the rifle. I'm gonna hit this with this dirty rag, then get a clean one because it's already dirty, so. So to get down in the little crevices, you can use Q-tips. I will grab some here in a minute once I get the majority of this cleaner off. All right, like I said, you can get a Q-tip down in here, or if you're feeling frisky, you can just take all this, take the trigger out and clean it. Because all it is you push this pin and this pin, push them out the other side, and out pops the trigger. I just don't like doing them because they're a booger to get back in. Man, he did not clean this rifle very well. But I guess it is an AK, so. All right. Now that the inside of the receiver is clean, let's clean the barrel. So you could probably watch 100 different videos and learn 100 different ways on how to clean a barrel. So I'm going to teach you my way. So, we're going to start with the brass bristled brush. So brass is obviously a softer metal than what the steel is, so it's not going to cause a problem when you run it through the barrel. So, but you just simply put it in there and push it through. So I will say I am kind of one of those believers, depending on the rifle. I don't necessarily like running a bore brush back and forth through it. Some people say the only direction it should go is the same direction that the bullet goes. Some people say the only direction it should go is against the bullet, against the direction of travel of the bullet, because you're wanting to clean off what it's leaving. Either way, I don't necessarily run it through on my precision rifles. I 100% will not. It only goes the direction the bullet goes. On a gun like this, I may run it through the first couple times the same direction, but then I'll run it coming back the third or fourth time, because it just helps get everything clean. All right. So we've run the bore brush through. Next, we're going to run just some oiled patches through. And what this is going to do is this is basically going to oil up. Let's find a bigger one. It's going to oil up the barrel and help loosen all that up that we just knocked off. Pick up majority of it. Alright, and we're just going to run that through. And like I said, all that's going to do is basically put oil in the barrel. Yes, it's going to pick up a lot of stuff, but we're just wanting to get plenty of oil in it. Ew, that one was nasty. Let's do it one more time. All right. Now we're done with that. Now, we're going to take patches, the patch pusher, there it is. We're going to take the patch pusher, and we're just going to push patches through until the patches come out clean. This is another reason why I like using white shirts, because then I can know if they're coming out clean or not. You can use paper towels for this. I just don't like when it leaves lint and whatnot. So I try not to. So no extra oil. We're just going to take the patch and we're going to push it through. And that one came out relatively dirty. So we're just going to take this, flop it over, and use the other side of the patch since we already know it's going to be dirty again, and push it through. All right. That patch is done. Let's get another one. Wow, that one looks way better. All right, I do believe that'll be good for that one. So one last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push another one through, but I'm going to put a look. Oh, I'm going to do the oil first. Put just a tiny drop of oil across it. And what this is going to do is this is going to help put just a little bit of oil in that barrel to help keep it from rusting. You don't want to saturate it or anything else, but just get a little bit of oil along those grooves. So, oil's in there. Barrel is cleaned. I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to get me one more clean rag. And then I'm going to do kind of just a final rub down. Make sure everything's cleaned off. See, I got a little drop of oil on it. Make sure all my cleaner's cleaned off. Make sure all my... So, if you wanted to, by the way, this little handle right here, you can flop it over, and what that does is that loosens the front so that the front handguard can come off, so you can clean the whole barrel. I forgot to show you that part earlier, but not all the time I do that. There it is. But since we're to this point, we'll go ahead and take it off. All right, and for reassembly, we're doing everything backwards. We'll slide that in, pop that handle right over the top. All right, this thing was dirty as all get out, but we said it's the gas chamber, the gas tube, however it is you want to phrase that, because chamber might not be the greatest. All right, it looks way better. We're gonna slide that onto there. Make sure this is up and out of the way, and push it back in. point, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Wipe that down so I can get it out of the way. All right. So we'll take our bolt and we'll slide it back in. And it just slides just like that. Now, you need to oil on the receiver. Anything that's going to touch metal. So right across, all the rails across here need some oil. Your springs need the oil. Your hammer springs need oil. Your safety wouldn't hurt to have some oil so it functions properly. And not to mention all these places can just use just a dab of oil and smear it on there because you don't want it to rust. The oil that's on there will keep it from rusting. It goes for the whole rifle. All right, so we got that in. So now we're gonna take the bolt carrier, slide it back in there. Now again, here's where you gotta find that little catch. It's gotta, there. See? It's a booger. Once you get that in, make sure you did put a little oil on your spring, again, just to keep it from being rusted. You slide that in. That comes back together. And then your top, your receiver cover. It's got to sit in that little groove back down here. And there we go. There is a field stripped and cleaned AK-47. Function check, safe works, chambers, fires. All right, that looks great. So the last thing I would do is take, it's not a clean one. Last thing I would do is take one of my rags, just, an ever so small amount of oil, and I'm gonna rub the whole entire rifle. In this instance, I am doing the wood furniture because the oil is still gonna help keep it conditioned. But I wanna wipe off any excess oil that might be from when I put oil in it, as well as any of that oil, that little bit of oil I put on there to help kind of coat and keep the metal protected. Because remember, guns' only enemies are rust and stupid politicians. And there it is, all complete. All right, guys, there we go. We've got our AK fully cleaned, and we're good to go. So that's all there is to this one. There isn't any more. I'm just kidding. So I hope you like this video. If you do, like, subscribe, and share, please. If this is the first one that you've seen, go check out some of our other stuff. We do lots of adventures. We don't have just gun videos. We have Jeep videos. We have building Jeep videos. We have trail ride videos. We have all sorts of things. We went to Peru. We've been to, the hot air balloon festivals. So go check out our videos. So, like I said, this is the second in the series. So if you liked it, go check out the first one. It's the AR cleaning. So other than that, I want to thank you, and y'all have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.